Hey, honey.
Yes, Barry?
Let's get out of here.
Where are we going?
Where do we always go?
Fascina el viento, este ritmo de palmas, sin mi naturaleza, hasta encontrar la playa. Por eso grito al mundo, yo soy de Puerto Vallarta. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta.
Hello, fellow travelers, and welcome to this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. I'm your host, Barry Kessler, and I'm just so happy to be introducing you my favorite vacation destination. Hey, baby, it's even yours, and that's Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. The music you're listening to is performed by Alberto Perez, and Alberto is the owner of the Lapa Lapa group of restaurants. Those are the Lapa Lapa, Puerto Vallarta's oldest restaurant on the famous Los Muertos beach, and the El Dorado restaurant and beach club right next door. So you can enjoy that fantastic view of the Los Muertos pier, all lit up at night in beautiful colors, or during the day in its grand splendor for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, seated with your toes in the sand right at the water's edge. It's so romantic. It's so Puerto Vallarta, my friends. This week we are going to Nacho Daddy in the romantic zone of Puerto Vallarta. We have an open microphone meetup there that we need to listen to. We invited listeners to come. We will hear about the upcoming Brewmaster Festival over at Puerto Mágico. Edgar Rivas stopped by to talk about that. We will hear from Kay, who was there to talk about what the Abuelos of Cinco de Diciembre are doing. That's Anne-Marie Weiss's group. We'll find out how we can help them out for Christmas. We're going to hear from JR. We're going to hear from Bill Langford. He's going to talk about sea glass, his sea glass jewelry. And our friend James, of course, will be there as well. But we're also going to talk about my experience flying from Tijuana to Puerto Vallarta using a facility built right on the border of California, directly adjacent to the Tijuana airport. And I'll give you a step-by-step breakdown, as well as a few surprises that I came up against. But before we get to all that, let's see what's happening in Puerto Vallarta this week. Well, the 10th day of November 2021. You know that the high season has begun when Malecon Sculpture Tour kicks off, and Gary Thompson is back again. The sculpture tour is here. Gary is from Galleria Pacifico del Arte, and he's got a post that reads, Free Malecon Sculpture Tour is back this season every Tuesday starting November 16th until mid-April of 2022. Join us on a walk along the Malecon as you learn about the history of each of the sculptures, from conception to creation. Following the security protocol for COVID-19, masks are required to participate, but they will be provided if you don't bring one with you. The tour is free, but donations are gratefully accepted to the benefit of our public library, Biblioteca Los Mangos. For more activities and information on our upcoming events, please visit our news section on our website, where you can also download the guide and detailed information for all the sculptures featured along the Malecon. And I have a link to that, which right now is not working so good, but maybe by the time, maybe in a week or so, they'll have some information on it. But it's great to see Gary back on the Malecon doing these tours. He loves doing them, and I love, just listening to him talk about these great sculptures. If you haven't been, you really need to get out there and participate. It's a great way to learn something about all these great artists in Puerto Vallarta. And it's great what Gary does for the library. So go if you can. Also, things are heating up at one of my favorite spots to dance and eat and enjoy live music during the day. That's up at El Rio Barbecue. They are open and they are serving it up. I got a note from my amiga Iris from the Vallarta Board of Tourism. She wanted to tell me and to tell you about the International Gourmet Festival, which is beginning this Friday, the 12th of November. It's going to be, the first one's going to be at Tierra Luna Village at 8 o'clock. It will go until the 21st of November, and some of our favorite restaurants are participating. We got Barrio Bistro, Café de Artistas, El Dorado, Le Cliff, Blanca Blue, Kaiser Maximilian, River Cafe, Iku, just to name a few. I have a link to that special, to all those special events. You might want to go look at that if you're going to be in town. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Check it out. It is in the show notes. And the United States has finally reopened their borders. The land and air borders to foreign visitors who are fully vaccinated began on Monday, November the 8th, lifting nearly 21 months of restrictions. Pretty crazy. This article is from CBC News. Canadians with mixed vaccines and U.S. travel plans can breathe a sigh of relief. Following weeks of speculation, the United States confirmed late Friday that it will accept mixed vaccines when new rules kick in on November 8th, requiring that foreign travelers entering the U.S. be fully vaccinated. Individuals inoculated with any combination of 2 doses of COVID-19 vaccine authorized by U.S. regulators or the World Health Organization will be considered fully vaccinated. The U.S. Centers for Disease and Prevention Control told the CBC News. WHO-approved vaccines include Moderna, Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and its Indian-made counterpart, Covishield. So travelers with any combination of these vaccines will be allowed to enter the U.S. Currently, Mexicans vaccinated with Sputnik V and CanSino jabs cannot enter the country until the WHO approves them. The CDC does not recognize mixing COVID-19 vaccines, but said it updated its guidance to reflect growing global acceptance of the practice. In other words, they're just winging it. While the CDC has not recommended mixing types of vaccine in a primary series, we recognize that this is increasingly common in other countries, so should be accepted for the interpretation of vaccine records, CDC spokesman Kristen Norland said in an email. Of course she did. Millions of Canadians have mixed doses of COVID-19 vaccines. When the U.S. recently announced that it would impose a vaccination requirement for travelers entering by both land and air, many Canadians with mixed doses worried that they might soon be barred from entering the country. We felt kind of blindsided, said snowbird Ingrid White of Toronto. Following Canadian government guidance, she and her husband John each got 1 dose of Covishield and a 2nd dose of Pfizer. We did all the things that we're supposed to do in terms of vaccinations, White said. The couple had booked a flight to Florida for November 17th, but canceled it due to concerns over their mixed vaccines. They are now relieved to hear their vaccine combination won't be an issue when entering the U.S. We're thrilled, White said. I wish it could have been a little sooner. It would have allowed people to plan a little bit more effectively, but in the long run, it's great news. It's also good news for Peter Cesar of London, Ontario, who has a mixed Moderna and Pfizer. Cesar's fiancée, Mara Bakula, lives in Cleveland, and Cesar welcomed the news this week that the U.S. land border will be reopened on November the 8th to non-essential travelers, as he prefers to drive instead of fly to Cleveland. However, he worried that he might soon have no way of getting to the U.S. if the country rejected his vaccine mix. That was a very scary moment, he said. It felt like house arrest of sorts, like now I may have no option. Earlier this year, the CDC stated online that a mix of the 2 mRNA vaccines, Moderna and Pfizer, would be accepted in exceptional situations, but Cesar did not rest easy until he learned that the CDC had approved his exact combination. It's unbelievable, he said. It's such a relief. I share the relief with millions of Canadians. What are the other rules for entering the U.S.? When the new U.S. travel rules kick in on November 8th, travelers will still be on the hook for one or more COVID-19 tests. Of course, more money. Along with showing proof of vaccination, air passengers will still have to show proof of a negative antigen or molecular test taken within 3 days of boarding their flight to the U.S. Canadians entering by land won't have to take a COVID-19 test. However, when returning to Canada, all non-essential land and air travelers must show proof of a negative molecular test. That return test caused consternation for Canadian day trippers to the U.S. No matter how short their trip, they will still be on the hook for a molecular test, such as a PCR test that often ranges from 150 to 300 U.S. and can take 24 hours before results are available. To eliminate that wait for test results, the federal government says Canadians can take their test in Canada, travel to the U.S., and then use that test to return as long as it's less than 72 hours old. Oh, that's so nice of them. But that solution doesn't eliminate the high cost of the test. No, it doesn't. At a news conference on Friday, Ottawa said that according to the latest data, less than 1% of fully vaccinated travelers tested positive after being randomly selected to take a COVID-19 test upon arrival. Even so, Chief Public Health Officer Dr. Teresa Tam said Canada's pre-arrival test requirement will remain for now for both unvaccinated and vaccinated travelers. The U.S. has yet to say how it will deal with child travelers too young to get vaccinated. The CDC told CBC News it's working to establish an age requirement for its vaccine mandate. And I have a link to that article from the CBC in the show notes, so you Canadian travelers are just so lucky that you can now come to my country of birth. We are so generous, are we not? We are so compassionate, are we not? Anyway, better make sure that your dance card is properly checked over there. Make sure you got the right juice on board so you can enter the United States. You know, we don't want any old leaky vaccine-injected foreigner crossing our border. We prefer our own government-approved leaky vaccines. Thank you. Don't worry, guys. Someone's going to grease the right palm, and you guys will get in too. Don't despair. Speaking of money, there's new bills, new currency. We've talked about some of the new currency coming online, but there's a new 20 peso note. It's green and red, and it features the Cyan Khan biosphere with a crocodile on it. There's a new 100 peso note, which is about $5 US, in case you want to know, with monarch butterflies on it. There is a new green 200 peso bill with an eagle flying over the desert. There is a 1,000 peso bill. It's greenish in color. Of course, it is green, the color of money. 1,000 pesos is about $50 US, and it features a jaguar. And so I've not seen that 1,000 peso bill. I'm looking forward to seeing that. And you can look for the new money this season when you come back to Puerto Vallarta and get your pesos. I have a link to the pictures of these new bills. They are beautiful. They are in the show notes. And it's heartening to see a country still making pretty currency. Just try to make Mexico a cashless society. Just try, you globalist pigs. God, am I in a mood? There are travel rules being put in place to tighten up the time frames of tourists planning to come to Mexico. It seems that 6 months visas that are built into the FMM card that you get, that card that you fill out when you enter Mexico, seems to be a little bit too liberal. And there's efforts that are being made to make visitors be a little bit more specific as to how long they expect to stay. I'm going to go over that next week, but right now, hey, let's get to CBX, or the Cross-Border Express, and my experience with that particular thing that I did. And then we'll get to the meet and greet, okay? Now, I just returned from Puerto Vallarta a couple of weeks ago, and if you've been following the saga, because I live in Los Angeles, in Southern California, I have easy access to the Mexican border, so I decided that I was going to fly out of Tijuana, Mexico. Now, after I mentioned this to a listener in an earlier podcast, the listener Fred, thank you, Fred, Fred alerted me about a particular facility built on the U.S.-Mexican border called CBX, or Cross Border Express. It's close to the Otay Mesa, California, U.S. border crossing. Now, Cross Border Express is a pedestrian bridge. It's exclusively for passengers of the Tijuana airport. Okay, it allows passengers to cross the border between Mexico and the United States. It's 390 feet long. It connects the Tijuana International Airport with a service terminal in San Diego. CBX serves millions of passengers who cross the border as part of their travel, helping them avoid unforeseen delays at the congested San Ysidro and Otay Mesa ports of entry. CBX, Cross Border Express, historically also called the Tijuana Cross-Border Terminal and the Puerta de las Californias, opened in 2015, and I really liked using it. Now, they offer several advantages to passengers traveling through the Tijuana International Airport. For example, access to more than 35 destinations, including cities such as Mexico City, Guadalajara, Monterrey, Querétaro, Puebla, Zacatecas, Morelia, and the beach destinations such as La Paz, San Jose del Cabo, of course, Puerto Vallarta, Cancun, Ixtapa, Loreto, among many others. And I've got a map in the show notes that show all of the destinations that you can reach flying out of the Tijuana airport. It's pretty cool. They have extensive connectivity through 4 commercial airlines. There's Aeromexico, there's Calafia, Viva Aerobus, and Volaris, which operate routes to and from the Tijuana International Airport with a monthly average of 6,000 flights. Saving up to 50% on airfares might interest you. All different Mexican destinations. You can compare the flights from Southern California airports, and you can find that you're going to save a ton of money, and I did. It's fast and easy, and it's safe without having to leave the Tijuana International Airport, making it a practical alternative to crossing through traditional ports of entries. And with that said, especially if you are a nomad or an expat from the United States, if you need to take a trip to the border in order to renew that travel visa of yours, this is a really cheap and easy way to do it. Technology and innovation makes the crossing process easy, and it's a very unique modern experience, including the possibility of making your travel touchless with the safety and well-being of passengers as key priority. An airport terminal designed by the Legorreta architectural firm that offers a warm atmosphere to passengers, wide open spaces, and access to an array of services such as airline counters, shuttle service, car rentals, Starbucks, Wetzel's Pretzels, food truck area, and a currency exchange as well. Now, one clear advantage to flying out of Tijuana is the price. As I mentioned before, the airfare round trip bare bones for me was $98 US, nonstop round trip Tijuana to Puerto Vallarta via Viva Aerobus. This is the economy airline of all those airlines that I talked about. Go figure, it's me we're talking about here. Of course, I was taking that. And if you're driving down and you intend to park at the facility, you get off the freeway, you follow a lot of signs, and it leads you right to the facility. And when you arrive, you're going to find a very large place with a huge parking area where you can park your car. You enter at a daily rate of $15 a day for some parking lots, $18 for others, and $20 for others. You enter the building after you've parked your car with your bags. You have your bags weighed and they're tagged, and then you take them along with you, and you go to a computer, you print out your FMM card, which is your immigration document, or your tourist card. You pay $32 for a round-trip ticket, which gives you the opportunity to walk over that bridge back and forth round trip. That, of course, connects right to the Tijuana airport. There's even a plaque when you're walking across that bridge that marks the borderline in the tunnel that shows when you are crossing over into the United States. And of course, there are windows that you can look at as you're walking through the bridge, so you can actually see yourself walk over the wall. Anyway, I took pictures. They're all in the show notes. And again, if you have been following the saga, you also know that my wife, Debbie, my loving partner of 33 years of marital bliss, yes, she told me that she did not want to have me drive down there and leave our good car in that parking lot down on the Mexico-San Diego border for 8 days. And even though I told her that it was safe, she said, get there a different way, if you could, please. And so, now in a way, I was kind of relieved because I had already read the reviews about CBX. I read reviews about everything before I go anywhere. And I was reading in the reviews that one of the two complaints that kept popping up was there was unavailability of the cheaper parking spots when you came driving in. Certain cheap lots were closed, or maybe they were full, and so the parking became more expensive. And, the lots, they were divided up by price and distance from the facility and availability. So in other words, you could reserve a parking spot, but only the most expensive parking spot you could actually reserve online. Otherwise, you're just taking a chance. And there was a slight chance that if you were going to pull up and park and fly out, that maybe you wouldn't even find a space to park in the right price range, right? I mean, it could cost a lot more money. If you're paying $20 a day, you might as well fly out of LAX because you're going to be paying for 10 days. That's what, $200. So anyhow, the other complaint that I saw that I kept reading the reviewers writing about was that if you got there late at night, that the line could be really, really slow, like 2 hours slow. Now, I didn't experience any of that, but I crossed over, around 9 in the morning, so that's not late at night. And when I came back, it was around 7 in the evening. So when both of those times, there were no lines at all. It was quick. I was able to just walk right in. Now, so I did. I followed my wife's instructions. I actually found a van that would take me from downtown Los Angeles right to the CBX facility for $33 each way. So I booked the van. They actually called me up the evening before to confirm the time and the pickup location, which was a very nice touch, I thought. But it was at 4:45 in the morning in downtown Los Angeles. She was dropping me off at 7th and Main Street, right in the middle of downtown. Homeless encampments to the left and jokers to the right. I mean, it was crazy. But the van pulls up and the guy loads me and my luggage into the van, kiss my girl goodbye, and off I go. 2 stops later, the van was full. There were 9 people in total, all masked, of course. And I was the only gringo, by the way. Good way to warm up the Espanol for the first 3 hours of the trip. Actually, I slept most of the way. But when we arrived at the CBX facility, everything went really, really smoothly. I took the advice of listener Mary Ann, who suggested that I fill out the Corona health form on my phone. And I could do that 12 hours before taking off. So you just go to vuelosalud.com, where I filled out my form, and then you take your flight information, you put all that in there, and then you obtain a QR code, which you can use for the border crossing process. Of course, you want to take that and take a screenshot of that so you have it on your phone and ready to go. So like I mentioned earlier, once you arrive, either by car or another form of transportation, you enter the building, which has a Starbucks, coffee shop, snack bar. Outside there's 2 food trucks and nice clean bathrooms. And after that 3.5-hour ride, you really need one of those, I'll tell you. So first, you find the airline counter for your airline, and then they weighed the bags, they tagged the bags, and they printed out my boarding pass. And then they told me to go take my bags with me, and even the checked luggage, everything. And they directed me to a bank of computers where I entered my passport information for the tourist card. You slide your passport. There's a little barcode on your passport. You slide it in a little slot, and then the computer actually prints out your FMM card for you, which is your immigration document or your tourist card. This is the one that you usually fill out on the plane when they hand them out to you. So now you walk to another kiosk. It's another machine there where you pay $32 for a round-trip ticket. This gives you the opportunity to walk over that bridge, that 390-foot bridge that connects the facility to the Tijuana International Airport. Now, once I was in the Tijuana Airport, I was asked for the QR code, that health questionnaire, which I had already filled out. And then I found myself right there at the immigration line where a lady asked me how long I was going to be staying. And that's when I told her that I was going to be there for 8 days. And she says, you need to pay 594 pesos for this FMM card. And I'm like, what? Really? Is this something new? And she says, well, no. If you stay more than 7 days, you need to pay 594 pesos, which is it's like $30 US. So she walks me over to a credit card machine and run my card for the 594 pesos. She stamps my passport, and then she sends me over to the customs guy where I take my bags, and all my bags are loaded onto a conveyor belt that goes through the X-ray machine, and then it spits it out on the other side. And then from there, I went to the Viva Aerobus ticket counter where I checked my bag, my big muling bag, and then I looked for something to eat for breakfast in the Tijuana airport. I found a Vips. Vips or Vips or whatever you want to call it. It's Mexico's version of Denny's, by the way. If you've never eaten at one, I ordered a plate of chilaquiles verdes con pollo with chicken. It was horrible. But hey, I was hungry, and somebody needs to slap that cook's mom. It was awful. Anyway, while I was sitting there, I looked up the issue regarding the payment of the 594 pesos in custom and immigration, and as it turns out, it was not a scam. It's a charge that you don't usually see because you're usually paying for that charge when you buy your ticket through your airline. So it was totally legit. And if you cross over, be ready because it may not be included in your ticket price. Boarding was a breeze. I got a window seat on an exit row, so lots of leg room, comfy seating. It was an Airbus A320, 150 passenger jet. Very, very nice. Masks were required in the terminal. They were required at CBX as well. And, of course, on the plane, except the one thing that I noticed is they didn't bother me about the kind of mask that I was wearing. Usually when I fly Delta, they look at my single-layer mask and they say, no, you need a double-layer mask. But they didn't care. Also, as we were flying around, snacks were served during the flight. You could buy booze, you could buy soft drinks and chips and other snacks just with the swipe of your credit card. It was very efficient, and you don't get that anymore on American flights anyway. Once we arrived in Puerto Vallarta, again, we were asked to show our QR code, our health code, and then we waited for our checked bags to come off the conveyor belt. And then the coolest thing happened. You just pick up your bags and you walk out of the airport doors. That's it. Because, I'd already been through immigration and customs when I was in Tijuana. So, you walk off. But much to my surprise, there is actually a version of the Shark Tank for domestic travelers. It's a bit tamer than the one over at the international arrival side. But anyway, there is one there, but it was very cool. I just picked up my bags. I literally walked right out into the lobby of the Puerto Vallarta airport where I purchased my taxi ride. I loaded my bags, and then off we went to the Plaza Mar. So we will see what changes that they made the end of the month when I go back as far as the limited travel for people who are not vaccinated. But hey, I'm your test dummy. Like I said, I've gone now 7 trips to Puerto Vallarta since the pandemic, since they started allowing people back in June of 2020. I've been to birthday parties. I've been on planes, of course, and buses and taxis and boats and sailboats and pangas and Ubers. And I've been to baptisms and cocktail events, and I've been to the theater a couple times. I've even hugged and shook hands with people. Imagine that. Even split a plate of food with people, complete strangers. Passed around countless numbers of doobies. I mean, hey, I wash my hands and stuff, okay? I avoid sick people. But look, after 20 months, if you need more convincing, I'm doing all that I can to try to convince you to come. Come to Puerto Vallarta. Anyway, like I said, I am returning the end of November. I'm just going to stay for a week, but I can't wait. I'm going to be staying at an Airbnb above the Barracuda, the El Solar Beach Club over there, and the Barracuda over on Playa Camarones. And I'll make sure that I do a Facebook live report from the balcony of the Barracuda, of my condo above the Barracuda, I should say. Now, last month I stayed over at Plaza Mar, right on the Malecon, right across from the Red Onion, right on the beach, Tile Park, right there, everything. It was a great spot. And of course, I got a little help from Jeff Musto, who helped me, the PV Kid. He helped me to secure that location. And I took a really good video of the inside. I will share that. I'll embed that in this week's show notes when I get a chance. Now, I was curious about the return trip. I wanted to know how it was going to go. I was told by a friend that it is really important to get yourself to the airport 2 hours before departure, even if it is a domestic flight within Mexico, because they could still bump you from the flight, he said. So I made sure that I had plenty of time. But here's the thing. I got to the airport in Puerto Vallarta, and I walk up to one of those machines where you check in, and you start by choosing your airline off of this little screen. They got a little bunch of airlines there. Well, guess which airline wasn't on any of the screens of any of those machines? That's right, Viva Aerobus. Nobody wasn't there. So I look up, and I look down the row of airline check-in stations, and there was one long line. And what do you think it was for? You guessed it. It was for Viva Aerobus. Now, to be fair, the wait was only about 30 minutes, but if I was late, it would have been an issue. As it was, I made it through security. I started actually unloading my iPad and my laptop and my phone into those little plastic trays, and then I realized that I still had a bag of weed that I forgot to give a friend before I left my condo. So I quickly repacked my electronics, and I turned on my heel, and I walked right out of the security area and then back downstairs, where I dropped it in the magic trash can outside of the airport terminal. You guys know where that is, right? I mean, I wonder how much weed, weapons, paraphernalia are dropped into those cans each and every day. It must be a smorgasbord of goodies dropped into those trash cans. I mean, I wonder who gets to empty those. Anyway, I was able to get back to the security line in no time, and it wasn't busy, thank goodness. And I walked over to the domestic departure gate, where, by the way, the food choices were bad. If you want hot food, if you want any good food, you need to go to the international gates, which you can. You walk over there and get your food and bring it back. But anyway, I was issued the same seat, actually, on the way back. I got the complete with the emergency row and the leg room. It was great. I really like that A320 airplane. Nice plane. Anyway, the flight was full, just like it was on the way down. They didn't fuss with me again over the mask. They didn't care, just as long as you were wearing one. And the plane landed in Tijuana, and I picked up my checked luggage over at the baggage carousel. And then I followed a sign saying CBX. I dug out my round-trip ticket for the bridge with that QR code on it that I purchased a week earlier, and I scanned it, and the gate opened up. And across the bridge, I walked from the Mexico side to the U.S. side. And on the other side of that bridge was a U.S. Customs officer. I think there were 2 or 3 there that were working. And he asked me where I was coming from. Duh. I mean, I didn't tell him that. I said, Puerto Vallarta. Mexico was right behind me. Anyway, he asked if I had anything to declare. I said no. I told him I was in trouble because I didn't buy a bottle of tequila for my wife. And he nodded knowingly, and he waved me through. And then I caught that $33 van back up to Los Angeles, where my lovely wife picked me up at 1:30 in the morning. And so there you have it. That's the whole process. I have pictures of the place in the show notes. The Mexican Immigration Service didn't like me taking pictures, so there were just a couple that I took in Mexico. So I wasn't able to share everything with you there. They're a little secretive over there. Anyway, so no, I did not take a stick up the nose test this time to travel. There was no antigen test required and none taken. No questions as to vaccination status, nor a COVID test at the border. None at all. And I already have been notified of a change in the flight departure time of my Viva Aerobus coming up from Tijuana in a couple weeks. But it looks like even though the flight leaves Tijuana at 8 in the morning, there is still a van that leaves Los Angeles at 1:30 in the morning. So if I arrive in Tijuana at 5:30, that gives me just enough time to catch that 8 a.m. flight to Puerto Vallarta. Hopefully I'll make it. But it sounds like it should be a lot of fun. I should be okay. Anyway, you can sign up with CBX and receive discounts if you buy your passes online ahead of time. And I have links in the show notes. And I really love that I can actually fly all over Mexico at a very deep discount using CBX. But I'm more excited, of course, that I can use it to fly you know where. Puerto Vallarta. Did I have to say that? Okay, I wanted to read some really wonderful listener emails. I'm getting some great emails from you guys. A couple of complaints from a couple of listeners, both named Carl. But we're going to wait for that. We need to get to the meet and greet. Now, as I like to do on every trip, we had a meet and greet where I asked listeners and business owners and charities and such to come and spill the beans and tell us what they are up to in Puerto Vallarta. And this time we had a bunch of listeners. Edgar Rivas from Brewmaster Festival over at Puerto Mágico. We're going to hear from Kay, who's going to talk about the abuelos. We are going to hear from JR, who is going to tell us about his eye surgery. Bill Langford is going to talk about sea glass. And our friend James from Monterey is going to check in, and we're going to hear his story too. So let's go right now to Nacho Daddy's on Basilio Badillo in the romantic zone of Puerto Vallarta. Let's go to the top floor and to our meet and greet. All right, Edgar, how you doing, buddy?
Barry, nice to see you again. It's been a long time now.
Yeah.
I guess more than 1 year and a half.
I think it has, because they stopped having festivals. Oh, you're still having them though. You're still having them during the pandemic, weren't you?
Well, I was lucky last July. I had the 10th edition of the Ceviche and Aguachile Festival.
Yeah.
And it was right here on the Quale Island. It was July 31st and August 1st. I was lucky because actually on that weekend the governor from Guadalajara made the third, fifth shutdown in the state. So, it was, I've been working during all these years with the local government, of course, the Cultural Institute. So that's the idea. I have the big, huge background. Uh-huh. So
you got people. You know people. And they know that you're dependable too,
As a freelance doing all these festivals, etc., I've been dealing with few different administrations. Politics. Yeah. So when you're talking about politics in Mexico, we need to flow.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you have to maneuver, right?
Totally. See, it's part of the business.
Yeah.
To maneuver with people, get each other, and get the support because of all the festivals, they are always on the public parts.
Oh,
Lázaro Cárdenas, Quale Island. So I need to get a specific permission from the cultural and then the government. You need to follow up like in other places of the world. So we had the 10th edition of the Ceviche, And well, now November is we're getting back, starting with the season.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. So you have something coming up right now, which is why you're here.
Yeah. Thank you, Barry. Thanks for having me here. One more time. It's always a pleasure to say hi to.
It's always a pleasure to have you here. You know, my listeners like ceviche. They like beer. They like tequila. You know, they like you. They like you.
Thanks, guys. Well, this time I'm here to invite you guys, all of you, the guys you are already in Puerto Vallarta and the ones are about to come, because I have the 4th edition of the Brewmasters, the craft beer festival from Puerto Vallarta, of course, which is, I'm very excited. It's been 2 years since I had the last edition.
Yeah.
So this time we're gonna change the venue.
Okay.
Unfortunately, due to was the Nora hurricane last month, which very terrible, and you guys know the Quale area, it was very affected by the river. So in this year, 2021, we are changing location. So we are going now to Puerto Mágico.
Oh, really?
Puerto Mágico, for those who haven't heard about this new mall in town. Puerto Mágico is like where the cruise ships come in Puerto Vallarta. So we have a new mall, which is called Puerto Mágico, and we're gonna set up all the festival right on the welcome hall. It's a huge, nice hall. We have shade. Of course, we have some fresh air because we are just beside the ocean where all the cruise ships came. So we're gonna have a nice, brand new place. It's perfect for location to set up all the stands. We have already different breweries from Puerto Vallarta already confirmed. In total, actually, we have 13 breweries coming.
Wow.
I have people coming from Guadalajara. In this year, we have special people coming from Guadalajara, from Autlan. Autlan is a little town here in Jalisco, from Carlos Santana, the guitar player.
Yeah.
One of the most famous.
He's from Autlan?
He's from Autlan. For those who don't know the story, where Carlos Santana born, it was Autlan, Jalisco. A little town is like 7 hours from Puerto Vallarta, up in the mountains.
Uh-huh.
Such a nice, beautiful town. So we have people coming from Autlan with craft beer, and we have also a special spirit from agave. It calls Comil. Comil is it's a blend. It has 2 kinds of agaves. One of these is the one they use for tequila, and the other agave, the one they blend, it's another agave. It grows close to Autlan.
Uh-huh.
So there's a lady, Mariana. He has a brand from Comil, this spirit, mezcal, agave spirit. So we're having craft beer, we're having mezcal, basically it's a mezcal. So, and also, as I was telling you, los people from Puerto Vallarta, of course, we have Los Muertos Brewing coming. Ken always needs to be part of the festival.
You can always depend on them, yep, that's right.
Exactamente. We have also Rio Meca, which is young people from Puerto Vallarta, local people.
Yeah.
They had this project, they started 5 years ago, but still a microbrewery. They sell their beer in just few bars in town. But the idea with the festival is to promote, to make some noise about these microbreweries.
Right.
We have also Los Cuentos, for sure, is one of the from Puerto Vallarta, ones that are very, very popular. Mm-hmm. We're having Buclas from Bucerías, one of the the best from Bucerías.
The one that comes out of Bucerías.
Exactamente, Buclas. That's the word, exactly. We have three breweries coming from Guadalajara, one from Colima, the one I told you from Autlan, another one from Los Altos de Jalisco, another little town here in Jalisco. See, yeah.
Really? Is
That's
that
what
right?
I've heard
There's beautiful
about.
women there?
One of the beautiful women.
Really?
I hope they bring some craft beer and some.
Maybe you'll have some people modeling the craft beer for you.
Yeah, I need to call the brewmaster. I need to double check what he's bringing to the event. So we're getting back. So it's been 2 years. Unfortunately, we had to stop with all the festivals, but we're getting back. And I'm very happy to make the announcement. This year we are promoting. This you will see in our social media. This year we co-work with 2 local artists. I want to thank to Kika Gomez y Ernesto Garrigós. The local artists, they paint these two beautiful postcards. We just have like
Cute.
a crocodile with a surfboard and a Chihuahua doggy watching a beers, passing us beers.
Very good. I'll have pictures of those in the show notes, you guys.
Sí,
if you
sí,
want to look
please.
at them.
Happy to share.
Talking about beautiful girls, Kika is a beautiful girl. You ever met Kika Gomez? Oh, beautiful.
Sí.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes. So there you go.
One more reason to go to the festival. We're having pulque also. And
All right. What's pulque?
Okay, for those who don't know, pulque is the milky sap from the agave. It's basically the fermented juice from the agave. It's a little bit thick. It has a very nice flavor.
Does it get you wasted?
See, it has a small percentage of alcohol.
Oh no! So
It is fermented.
No, just a small percentage. It's not going to get you wasted.
It's small, like a regular beer,
Oh,
3-4%.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that like. So it's an interesting drink.
Okay.
It's the fermented juice from the agave. It's a little bit thick. It's the milky
Interesting.
sap from the agave.
I got to check it out.
You guys need to check it out. So that's the idea about the festival. Yeah, it is the Brewmaster Festival. We're having 13 breweries. Plus special guests like the Pulque, Comil de Agave from Outland. We're having also Raicilla. Raicilla is the local spirit. You guys need to go.
Edgar can't have a show without Raicilla.
Exactamente. We're with Raicilla involved in my festival.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're having special guests also from Oaxaca with Mezcal. We're having Mezcal from Oaxaca. So we're going to have few different spirits.
Nobody drive there, okay?
Exactly.
Don't drive
Come
there.
by Uber, get ready, or otherwise we can help you.
Oh, and by the way, it's over in Puerto Mágico. It's in Puerto Mágico where the ships come in. But remember, everybody, listen here, listen up. If you're going to get on a ship, if you're going to go to Puerto Mágico and you're going to do all that stuff, leave your weed at home, okay? All right. Yeah. Don't hide it in your cigarette pack. That's right, because it is federal property, and they will confiscate it and maybe walk you somewhere. So
it's an interesting. Well, thanks for you that comment.
Yeah,
it is a federal area, but the festival we're having the festival in the mall area.
The mall. Okay,
inside
all right.
Of the mall.
Bring all your weed.
Sí. See, like bring it up. Share. So no.
If you're good, but if you're there and you're going to hop on a boat afterwards, leave your weed at home.
Yeah, but it's going to be. That's a good question. You need to get to the mall, and of course, we're having staff guiding all the people. Okay, here, follow this. We're gonna have a.
So you don't get lost. So you won't get lost.
You're not gonna get lost if you're gonna. Well, of course, it's always better to come by Uber. Mm-hmm. Safety first.
Yeah.
So, but of course, the entrance very important. It's free access. We're having free parking lot too. And always special price on all the craft beer. We're selling half beer, full beers, and we're having more than 70 different kind of craft beer, like lager, stout, IPAs, double IPAs, Kolsch, Pilsner, anything, everything what you guys like. We know a little bit of the style, the flavors you guys like, so we're having a lot of different kind of beers, and of course local food presented by local restaurants. We can miss like good tacos de pastor. What else we can have? Tuétano, bone marrow tacos. We're gonna have also aguachiles, burgers, steaks. So a little bit of everything. We're having even a Italian trattoria coming. We're gonna have like special. How can I say like? It's special food like street food.
Meatballs,
Italian
right?
street
People
food.
start throwing meatballs.
It's a little bit like kind of meatball, but it's more like street food.
Yeah.
So the ones you can grab and have few bites, then few drinks of your beer, and the perfect pairing. So that's the idea. It's a full, complete experience for you guys to come. We're getting back. It's the 4th edition of the Brewmaster, so please come. It's November 13 and 14. At Puerto Mágico, as we say, is where the cruise ships come. So we start from 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. We're having live music, DJs, rock, reggae, everything what you guys like.
Oh yeah,
it's 9 hours event.
9 hours
9
long.
hours
okay,
event.
yeah. So be ready.
Okay? Be ready.
Pace yourself, folks. Pace yourself. Edgar. All right, that's really cool. Hey, is there anything new? You were telling me that there's some new breweries in town. What's going on? Anything going on?
It's growing. It's growing fast. You know, the craft beer in Puerto Vallarta. Well, all Banderas Bay is growing fast. There's a Jamba brewery. They just opened. They were in Sayulita. Well, they are in Sayulita, but they just opened a new one here in Centro. Very close to the Malecon, to the Seahorse.
Oh, really?
They had a nice bar. They have in the ground floor all the brewery with the lines. First floor, the DJ area is an open, like a small patio.
Yeah.
And in the second floor, they have the pizzeria. They have a nice Italian-style pizza. So that's something for you guys to try. Something.
Sure.
Jambak it's very close to Abasolo Street. Abasolo Street. And also Los Cuentos, which is a local beer, craft beer. They just opened their tap room in Versalles. As you guys know, Versalles neighborhood, Versalles is growing so fast about all the foodie scene.
Yeah, that's where Kay lives.
Yeah, mira, you live
Yeah, she lives there because she doesn't have to go upstairs.
Yeah, well, because Versalles is growing very fast in the foodie scene. So now we have also a little tap room. It's very small but cozy place. And something nice to mention about the place is each beer, all the craft beer you buy, each one it comes with a small pairing. It might be like a small shrimp broth.
You're going to say like
shrimp
another
broth,
alcohol.
a small quesadilla. Each beer has a small pairing, which is included, no? So, different experience. So the food is in Vallarta, we are growing. Craft beer is also part of this, the experience.
Yeah.
So that's my duty to.
That's your duty to bring us beer.
Bring us to enjoy the good stuff, the good quality, and of course, in this specific case, the best craft beer from Puerto Vallarta and Banderas Bay.
Excelente. Edgar, thank you for coming on the show again. Thanks for joining us. Hey, I'll be back next month. Maybe something else is coming up. You'll come and join us again.
We're getting ready, so for sure we're gonna have something special December, January. So I'll work hard to have an event almost every month.
Really?
In the high season. So,
dude, we'll be talking a lot.
I'll be busy, so I'll try to get busy. So I'll keep you posts from all the events that are coming.
Right on. All right. Well, thanks. Thanks for introducing us to the festival and to all the new breweries that's coming up around here.
Thanks, Barry.
We could just
for
roll
more
around
information.
And get drunk.
For more information, we're in Facebook and Instagram as Brewmasters PV. Brewmasters PV de Puerto Vallarta. So for all those who want to check more information, all the breweries are coming. So take a look on our social media and please join us November 13 and 14 in Puerto Mágico.
Excelente. I'll have links to all those in the show notes, okay?
Thank you, Barry.
All right, brother. Kay, thanks for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from, and what was your path to Puerto Vallarta?
I am Kay Lilly here in Puerto Vallarta. I found my pops about 6 years ago from his obituary. I have a sister here. My birth name was Suzanne Kay Lilly. My sister's name is Suzanne Carol Lilly, and I have a brother, sister-in-law, niece, and nephew.
Wow.
And my heart belongs here. I saw the Bay of Banderas, and I understood why my pops and my brother, when they sailed down here, they stayed. And then I learned about the ley lines and all kinds of other things, and my heart is here for the good weather, too.
Of course it is. Where are you from?
Santa Rosa, California.
Santa Rosa. So the weather in Santa Rosa is just a little chillier than it is here.
Yes, it is. And we just got like 6 inches of rain in less than 24 hours, so it was a big deal.
Yeah.
We're on water rationing right now.
Yeah.
We have to be really, really careful. So... But right now they're getting rain a little too much for where we've had our fires, mudslides, things are happening.
Yeah.
A lot of flooding, but I'm here.
You're here. You don't have to worry about that.
I don't have to worry about that.
How long have you been here?
This is my 6th year.
6 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So you're a veteran of this thing.
Kind of, sort of. I had family that showed me around. I lived in Cinco de December for the first 5 and just moved to Versailles where it's flat. My hip popped out 5 times in 4 months here. And I used the facilities and it was absolutely to die for. The medical care and Pam Thompson Webb were awesome.
Oh, great.
Awesome taking care of me.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you're hippie.
I am. And then they fixed it when I got home in April, and they put I call it my angel halo. There's a ring on that thing now, so it can't
To
pop out
hold
anymore.
it in. Wow. All right. They could do all kinds of stuff, right?
Totally.
right.
Totally amazing.
Yeah, let me get to the machine. Let me get to the lathe here. We'll fix something up for you.
Yeah.
All right. So, what brings you here today?
I am here to promote the Vallarta Abuelas. I met Anne Marie about 4 years ago, and I was introduced as if I wanted to sponsor a kid, and I did. For the first year, it's like $500 to put a kid through his sophomore year of school, and I saw what she did, and I gave her a name for her home, calling it a safe house. The kids come there sometimes at 7 o'clock in the morning to work on their studies. She has a computer room. She feeds 15 to 16 kids every single night. She collects clothes and anything she possibly can that we don't need and passes it around to our community here. A lot of the kids are from Cinco de Diciembre, but we are Vallarta Abuelas now because we have people all over the marina and everywhere. And what I'm really here to promote are the things that Anne Marie does and the cultural tour that's coming up on Thursday, November 11th.
Okay.
7 Mexican artists and 3 new ones. It starts at 9:55. You need to be at Pharmacy Guadalajara in the Romantic Zone, Insurgentes 261. It's prompt at 10 a.m., 500 pesos, and 100% of that goes to the kids that she supports with food and other things. Sunday, December 5th, we're having a bazaar at Anne Marie's, and the address is 1261 Bolivia. We have all kinds of art, toys, unique crafts, food, handmade holiday ornaments, and gifts. And what I really want to tell everybody is that Anne Marie has now Christmas trees with kids' names on them. Like to get a gift, you pick the name off a tree and provide the gift that they want, and like a giving tree. We already have them in Nacho Daddy's, Cassandra's Jewelry, La Katrina Cantina, and if any other business would like to support us by putting a tree in their business and so that their patrons can get a gift for our kids, I sure would appreciate it. We do the best we can, but we need all the help that you can give us here in the community. And I thank you all and one and all.
All right, tell us how this tree works. When you say the Christmas tree,
That's
correct.
correct.
If you're going to bring a Christmas tree in here,
That's correct.
What does it look like?
I'm not sure exactly what it looks like, but it'll have each of the kids' names and the gifts that they would like to have.
Oh,
and
I
if
see.
it's something that you can buy and provide,
just-
you take that name off the tree. There'll be a time that you can bring the gift back to the facility, and we will make sure that it gets to the kids. We are going to have a Christmas party on December 23rd. That's when the Santa Claus will be there and pass out all the gifts to the kids that have asked. Plus, we'll have bags for the kids that have not asked and don't know about the giving tree.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, so I will have links to all of that. I'll have all that information in the show notes. Of course, you can find that at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com. Anne-Marie is a friend of the show, and we love what she does over there. And so, of course, we are so happy to have you here so that we can help support. So just keep that in mind. Give us the dates again.
Okay, November 11th, Thursday, is the beginning of the cultural tour. December 5th, from 12 noon to 6 p.m., is our bazaar, and it's at 1261 Bolivia. And then our Christmas trees are going in. I'm not exactly sure of the date, but then we will have a Christmas party for presents. If anybody wants to donate more presents, they sure can. And that will be when Santa delivers the gifts on December 23rd.
Okay, very nice. All right, so look for those Christmas trees in these businesses, and when other businesses join on, get a hold of me. I'll make announcements about it.
Oh, thank you very much. I
You're
appreciate
very welcome.
it.
Thanks, Kay. Thanks for coming and joining with us today.
You bet.
Bill, thank you for coming to this meet and greet. It's great to see you, man.
Well, thank you so much, Barry. It's fun to see you again.
Tell us, well, first of all, tell everybody what you do. Tell us what you do here in Vallarta.
Well, we try to have fun, but the business has taken over our lives, and we originally started picking up beach glass on the beach, and we accumulated so much that I decided that I should try to do something with it.
Yeah.
And I started working with it and doing some wire wrapping and doing some other things, and it just kind of blew up from there. And finally got brave enough to do a market and put myself out there, which is scary.
It is.
And
especially since you've got your own designs out there. I mean, you're like putting out your soul, right?
Exactly. And you know, it's a small town, and you can be humiliated.
Yeah.
You can be the bravest person in the world. All the things above. You know, it's difficult to. I never thought of myself as an artist, but all of a sudden I became an artist.
You sure did.
And it's just blown up from there.
All right, so tell everybody the name of your company.
It's Beach Booty Jewelry and Art, because we've gone beyond the glass. We're doing lots of art pieces as well.
Okay. Out of the glass, right?
Out of glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like framed art pieces.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Because you have so much of the material. You got a lot of material.
Oh my God.
I mean, I see sometimes when you come back, you know, from your scavenger hunt, and it's like it's a bounty, you know, it's huge.
We have hundreds and hundreds of pounds of glass.
I believe it.
And people always ask, I never see a piece of glass on the beach.
Oh, I know why.
It's just, we have it all. But it was fun. It's been a lot of fun, you know, just putting it all together.
Yeah.
And, you know, we started with pendants, went to earrings, went to bracelets, went to punch tin Christmas trees.
Oh, really?
And those were exploding. And we were selling lots of those. And then punch tin mirrors, and then other tin products.
Yeah, like the star things that they have.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And so I was going to Guadalajara like 30 times a year in one day.
Wow.
There and back in one day.
Uh-huh.
It's a 13, 14-hour trip. It became really, really overboard.
Yeah.
And we started putting our stuff into Arte Viviente, and that has really become a great thing for us. And now that the markets are finally starting to open back up, we're going to start doing a market. We're going to do the Marina Vallarta market, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I love your work. I mean, you know that I was in the jewelry business, and so I can admire what you do, the wire wrapping, the pieces that you make really they're thoughtful, they're beautiful, and you're on Instagram, I see. So I'm going to have links to your Instagram page. You're on Facebook, of course, but do you have a website yet?
Yes,
you do. Okay, so I'll also have a link to your website as well.
Yeah,
and come to www.PuertoVallartaTravelShow.com. Come and look at Bill and Susie's work. Yeah. It's incredible.
Our website is beachbootyjewelry.com. And we also have hand-punched tin Christmas trees on Facebook. We have Beach Booty Jewelry on Facebook. So we have a lot of different sites that people can go to.
Yeah, you're working it. You're working it.
Yeah.
Look at you, man. Look at you, man.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to see you. I mean, you know, look, you survived the pandemic.
We did.
Yeah. Excellent.
Actually, you know, it was a little crazy.
Yeah, it was a crazy time here.
I have some photos and videos that I want to put together the day that COVID came to Puerto Vallarta.
Yeah, you've got some great. I've seen some of your video, and I've seen some of the video that you took when kind of the place was shut down. It was just it was kind of spooky.
Yeah.
You know, kind of spooky.
We ventured out and went downtown and went to the beaches, and I almost got arrested.
Yeah. Well, you know, why not? You know? Everybody else does around here.
It was, but we have some great shots of Vallarta completely empty.
Yeah. Or send that to me, will you?
I will.
All right, that would be really great.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. Congratulations to everybody around this table who's survived. Really, seriously. We're all still alive. It's really great.
We are. And
Hey, shh.
I'm pretty sure that I got COVID over that time period because a lot of things weird happened to me. But as soon as I got vaccinated, all of it went away.
You're all better.
Yeah.
You're all better.
All of it went away.
Yeah, I think a lot of us had COVID before that happened.
Yeah.
I know I did.
So the mind things, the body things, and all the different things that happened were really crazy.
Yeah, well, it's crazy. It's scary. People get a little scared. But hey, we're all here. It means that we all gotta live life, right?
Yeah.
We all gotta live life.
We survived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to add anything else, Bill? Tell us what the website again is. It's
beachbootyjewelry.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have a link to that in the show notes, of course, and you know where to find it. And Bill Langford, and tell Susie I say hi.
Okay.
Thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for coming here. It means a whole lot to me, brother.
Well, I realized, you said 5:30 to something, and I looked at my watch, and it was like, oh, my God.
It's almost over.
Is it still going on? So I ran down here real quick.
I'm so glad to see you. I am so glad to see you, brother.
Yeah.
All right.
It's really good.
Thanks for coming on.
You're welcome.
All right, brother.
Anytime.
And we have James Buckley here today. James, you're like a two-timer, no, three-timer now, right?
No, two-timer.
Just a two-timer. All right.
Yeah, well, 3 times if you count the one where you lost your bag on the bus and we had to do
that
it
would be
twice.
3 times. That's exactly
right.
right.
That's 3. It's 2.5.
You're here in Vallarta. What's going on?
Back in Vallarta. I got here yesterday.
Yeah, where you been?
All right. So since the last time I was here, I met a beautiful lady.
No.
At Margarita Grill.
No.
She was fantastic. I use her in the past tense.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Anyway, I dated her for about a month.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I want to go to Italy. I want to go to Italy for a month, and you're coming with me. And she's like, okay. So I'm the same guy that went to Guadalajara for one day and San Sebastian for one day. So we go to Italy for a month. We do 21 cities in 28 days.
Oh, my God.
So
she
we
died.
We have to
she
drag
died,
her
right?
around Italy and get her drunk the whole time. Anyway, so we decide we're going to go to Italy. Both of us have we're both vaccinated. We have to get the green pass to go to Europe.
Yeah. So what's the deal? Tell us.
So the green
tell us how
pass
that
in
works.
Europe is if you're American, then you just need to have your vaccine card from the CDC. You don't need to get any special, other green pass that they're all protesting over there. Anyway, so we have our green pass. We have our vaccine card. We don't need to get tested. So I'm at JFK. I'm waiting a couple hours, and my girlfriend shows up. She's from Vallarta, but she grew up in California and Las Vegas.
One of those.
Beautiful lady. Anyway, so she gets off the plane. I meet her, and I go, look, they just changed the rules in Italy. Americans are now considered unsafe, and we have to get tested. And I'm like, we can't get tested. We have 1 hour to our flight to Milan, and people are lining up downstairs for 4 hours, paying $450 US to get a rapid test.
How rapid is that?
Well, it was rapid. After 4.5 hours online and you pay $450, then they tell you pass her. So we can't do it. So we did this thing called Verifly.
Okay.
And Verifly, enables you to get on your flight. It approves you and all that sort of stuff. So we're verified. We go up to the desk and we say, look, we can't get tested. We're verified. They say, oh, you're verified? Okay, we never had this conversation. So just get on the plane. So we get on the plane. We're making out the whole time. They give us our own row by ourselves.
They gave you your own room. Yeah.
Our own row, our own bottles of wine, and we get drunk. We go. We don't know if we're going to go to Italy and get put in quarantine. or or what. So we get to Italy, and we were afraid that they're going to check us. The first thing the flight attendants say is, you're going to be checked for your COVID test immediately. We get out, we show our vaccine card, we show our passport, they let us in. All right, we're in. Great. We're there. Load off. Yeah. So anyway, we had a great time. We partied and drank wine and ate great food. I used to work in Bologna for 25 years. I used to go back and forth from California to Bologna. So I have a deep, warm feeling for northern Italy. And we went to Milan. Then we went to Verona. We saw an opera in a 2,000-year-old Colosseum in Verona. Then we went to Padua, and we had a fabulous time in Padua. We went to Venice for lunch. We crossed all the way over to the Mediterranean and hit the Cinque Terre, which is a fantastic spot. Porto Venere, Manarola, all the way up to Portofino. It was just fabulous, topless women everywhere, fantastic food. And then we went to Florence. We went to the Uffizi Museum. We saw the birth of Venus. We saw David, and we saw everything there. And then we rented a car, went to Montepulciano, which is one of the sort of key towns in Tuscany for wine. And it's like 1,000-year-old town with a beautiful old church and fabulous food and just ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, but it's not Puerto Vallarta.
It's not Puerto Vallarta.
Yeah.
And from there we went to Bologna. We had a great time in Bologna. We ate the best food in Italy. The best food in Italy is in Bologna.
Do they know how to make Italian food in Italy?
Yeah, they know how to make Italian food over there.
Right.
And
Okay.
Bologna is the best Italian food in Italy. Just ask any Italian. They don't know what a tomato is. They never saw a tomato in their lives. Everything is cream sauces and Parmigiano Reggiano cheese and
Oh, wow. Well, so heart attacks.
Yeah, heart attacks. But we drank a lot of wine, so that sort of flushed it out.
Okay, of course, yeah.
Yeah. And then from there, we went to Lake Como. We hung out with George Clooney and his wife.
Yeah, of course.
And we took Clooney because he's watching the kids. He's got twins. We're like, come on, just go hang out at the bar and play pool. So we played pool with the Clooney. We took the high-speed boats up and down, and we stayed in Bellagio, which is at the tip of Como. Como's shaped like an upside-down Y. And then back to Milan. And then I broke up with her after Italy.
Perfect. You know how
Yeah,
to
I
do
broke
it,
up with her.
You know how to do it.
You live
right,
with
bro.
somebody for a month, you really get to know them. So I'm like, no, I'm sorry. This is not working for me. There's certain things that I like that you don't do, and then we'll just leave it at that. And then I'm like, well, I'm going to Vallarta soon, so hopefully I don't see you there. And then I showed him Vallarta yesterday, so okay, I'll go to Vallarta. I got frequent flyer miles. I'm just flying from Monterey, California to Vallarta, so I take off in this bomb cyclone. I don't know what a bomb cyclone is, but I know looking at the radar is like 5 times bigger than Hurricane Rick that just hit Michoacan. And I'm like, holy Jesus, we take off. I've never experienced turbulence like this.
Wow, I'll bet that was
like
something.
Flying in South Carolina, 30 years ago. It was ridiculous. And we're in a little tiny plane because Monterey is a regional airport. And we get to Phoenix. Okay, we made it. We get to Phoenix.
We lived.
We get to Phoenix. We get on the plane. They can't close the door. The door won't close. It's off the hinges or something. They can't fix it or something. So we deplane.
Wait a minute.
And we sit
were
there.
you flying Southwest? Are you sure
This
that
is
was
American
the door?
Airlines.
Okay, because Southwest.
American
they got other
Airlines,
issues.
fix your shit. Anyway, so we wait 3.5 hours in Phoenix for a new plane to be flown in, and it flies in. We get on board, and I'm sitting next to this hillbilly from Indiana who just goes on and on about Puerto Vallarta. I love Puerto Vallarta. It sounded like one of your interviews you had with that lady about a month ago. I love Puerto Vallarta. If I had more than $7, I wouldn't go to Puerto Vallarta. I'd go to someplace nicer. But I only got $7, so I'm going to Puerto Vallarta. And he's across from me, and then he passes out and vomits all over himself during the flight. So I'm ringing the bell, like, get the fuck down here, because the guy, I don't know if he's dead or not, but he's drooling, he's vomiting on himself, he's passed out. So lucky me.
You know how to pick flights, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
You know how to do it. You know how to do it.
So I get to Puerto Vallarta. And I've been partying ever since. I've been here for like 30 hours. I've been drunk for 31 of them.
It's so good to have you here. I'm so glad you were able to find this place.
I went to a birthday party today.
Salute. Here, everybody.
Salute.
There we go.
So anyway, we did 21 cities in Italy in 28 days. It was fabulous.
Let me ask you something about Italy and traveling there with these passes and stuff like that. When you were going into a restaurant, did you have to show them that?
Inside, yes. So if you went inside to the restaurant, almost every restaurant has street dining because, Italy got hit really hard, especially northern Italy initially, and it scared them. So if you went inside, you had to have your COVID pass. You had to show your if you're an American, you had to show your vaccine card and wear a mask. If you sat outside, no problem. They didn't care.
Okay. What about going into stores?
Stores, same thing.
Okay.
And I would say the mask wearing there was 99%. Even people on the street walking around, it was very high. Mm-hmm. Much more than anything I've seen, even in California, which is more strict than other states.
Yeah.
So crazy. Yeah. So very high mask compliance. And there were quite a few protests about the Green Pass. So anti-Green Pass, anti-vax, anti-COVID, anti-whatever,
Did you see them?
shutting down.
There's some massive protests. Did you see
I was in Padua. Padua is between Verona and Venice. And there was a huge protest there where they shut down the rail system. They shut down the trolley system. And it was all anti-mask, anti-Green Pass, anti-vax. So yeah, I mean, that happens there. They love to protest shit in Italy. You go to Italy, I mean, you figure if you're going to take like trains everywhere, that half of your trains are going to be delayed or canceled because they're on strike.
Yeah.
So they love to go on strike and do that sort of thing.
The French like that stuff too.
Yeah, the French like that too.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I get back to the U.S. In the U.S., I take a shared limo from San Francisco to Monterey. So it's a big limo with 4 people in there and a driver, and the driver's not wearing a mask. And so I'm double vaxxed with Pfizer, and I get freaking COVID.
Yeah, you got the Rona.
I get COVID sitting in this guy's car for 2 hours, driving from San Francisco to Monterey. And I got a headache and sneezing and lost my smell and runny nose. So I'm like, oh, shit, I better go get tested. And sure in the hell, I'm positive.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got 2 Pfizers.
Yeah,
what the hell's going on here?
One of those rare breakthroughs.
Yeah, rare breakthroughs, which are about 1 in 100 right now, I think.
Yeah, that's
rare. That's not that rare.
Yeah.
Especially with millions and millions of people are vaccinated.
Yeah.
So about 17 days later, I got tested, and I went negative. I got most of my smell back, smell and taste.
How are you feeling? How are you feeling, James?
I'm drunk, but other than that, I'm pretty good.
Okay, everybody, did you hear that? James had the Rona. He's here talking to us today, okay? He is alive. So
yes, I'm alive.
There is that, okay?
Look,
there is that.
Get your vaccines, because I think if I wasn't vaccinated, being 59 years old and a smoker and
he'd
smoke
be
weed,
dead. He would be freaking
I would be
right?
dead. I'd probably be dead.
That's
yeah,
right.
I'd probably be dead.
I would hope so. All right.
But anyway. No, he doesn't hope I'm dead.
I'm allowed to say shit like that. Come on. No, I love James.
So I love Vallarta. I love
buddies.
Vallarta. I love this place. There's so many nice people. I can't wait for all the Canadians to come back this year.
Yeah, because they're pretty.
All the Canadian women, they're all coming back.
Yeah, you don't want California women here, but
No.
All right, James. Thanks for coming on.
You're welcome.
Thanks for talking to me again.
Yeah.
You are a two-timer. If you get
Two-timer.
3, you know what they
My favorite T-shirt. My favorite breakfast place is Pancake House for
See, he
They're
knows.
Eggs Benedict.
He knows how this goes. Thanks, James.
You're welcome.
Hey, and welcome back to the Earth.
Thank you. Hope I don't get corona again.
No, come on. You don't want to be a three-timer. And it would not be a meet and greet without JR because it's his. So, JR,
Hello.
both your eyes look really good. Like they look like they're clear. They don't have that yellow film going on over them and stuff like that. How you feeling?
I didn't have a yellow film.
You didn't?
Actually.
What was it? What was that on?
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, I had a problem.
Yeah.
Things weren't clear. In fact, once they did the cataract surgery on the right eye, they discovered that I had a retina problem. That was stretched a little, but I didn't know I had it because of the cataract. So when they did the left eye, now I got all these little black spots that float around.
And they're not floaters, huh?
No, not floaters.
Okay.
They're like dust spots.
Okay.
And exactly the same with the previous eye. The doctor said, well, eventually your brain will compensate and they will go away.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I'm still waiting.
Yeah, I bet you are. Well, hopefully those dots will turn in. If they turn into naked ladies, it wouldn't be so bad.
Anyhow, it's not so bad.
Yeah.
I need a little bit more help reading with reading glasses,
Yeah.
which I was told to expect. Anyhow, So, no, pretty good.
Excellent.
And I got to thank Dean Rager, who was totally instrumental in raising the money to pay for this surgery, which I couldn't possibly afford in the first place. Dean is an incredible person.
Yeah, he is.
Excuse my English. And I would encourage everybody to go out to Puerto Mexico at the Marine Terminal and get some of his bloody incredible chocolates.
Yeah, terrific chocolates over at Coco Mexico.
Coco Mexico.
Coco Mexico. Yeah, incredible. And, of course, he was responsible in reaching out to me and reaching out to a lot of your friends who then were able to help you out. So,
Oh, he's done incredible things for not just me, but for a lot of other people.
yeah, he has. He's got a big heart. Actually, we're going to have that episode with Puerto Mexico and Coco Mexico coming up in just a couple weeks. So make sure you look out for that. And, in fact, as a matter of fact, this time down, Dean set me up with 3 different interviews. So, yeah, incredible.
No, he's a great guy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not looking for him to take over your spot in helping me find people, JR. But he really did.
No, all the people I know are slowly dying off anyhow.
Oh, come on, knock that off. Hey, you survived the Rona. Come on, let's go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I have no problems. I had 2 jabs in April with the Pfizer, and I haven't had a problem since.
Excellente. All right, that's what we love to hear. And we're going to all keep it that way, aren't we? All right. Is there anything you want to add? Oh, you've changed your time for your meet and greet, haven't you?
Yeah, well, we changed it to 7 o'clock before the clocks changed here, but I think I'm going to keep it at 7 o'clock anyhow, mainly because they've got the trivia game down there, and that ends around 7.
Okay, good. All right, so there's a new meet and greet time then over at Nacho Daddy. It's going to be at 7 o'clock after they have their trivia game here, and you can be able to see JR here. And, of course, you can always look at Vallarta Advisor over on Facebook, and that is where you'll find JR posting that information as well. So tell everybody again, what was the surgeon and where was that surgery done?
Well, it was Dr. Rodolfo. I forget his family name. Dr. Rodolfo, that's what I call him,
Rodolfo.
Right? We had the surgery at the Hospital Hoya. Hospital La Jolla in Nueva Vallarta.
Oh, you went to Nuevo?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was like incredibly efficient.
Yeah.
I mean, incredibly efficient. unbelievable.
Excellent. All right, cool. Well, I will have actually information about your eye doctor, and they'll be in the show notes as well, because we want to say nice things about him, because you can still see, dude.
Yeah, and if anybody needs the surgery, it's a hell of a lot cheaper here than it is in the U.S.
Absolutely.
And the facilities are just they're incredible. They're like
brand
blew
new
me
equipment,
away.
everything. Yeah. I mean, it's a new hospital, so everything's brand new, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Great to see you happy and healthy here, JR. Let's go have a drink.
Yeah, I'm already doing that. I don't stop.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming to the meet and greet. It was really nice to see each and every one of you. We had a great time up there. I really liked doing the recording up in the upstairs room over at Nacho Daddy. It's pretty cool. I have links to all that cool information about the Brewmaster Festival, the Abuelos, JR's Doctor, as well as Beach Booty, Sea Glass, Sea Art, all that great stuff in the show notes. Go check them out at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com. All right, well, that should do it for today. Next week, stay tuned for more on-the-ground reports from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, with travel tips, great restaurant excursion ideas, and more. But until then, remember that this is an interactive show where I depend on your questions and your suggestions about all things Puerto Vallarta. If you think of something that I should be talking about, well, please reach out to me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending us your message. And remember, if you are considering booking any type of tour while you're in Puerto Vallarta, well, you must go to vallartainfo.com. That's JR's website. Reserve your tour through him right from his website. Remember, this is a value for value proposition. His experience and on-the-ground knowledge of everything Puerto Vallarta in exchange for your making a purchase of a tour that you would do anyway. You're just doing it through him as a way of saying thank you. Thanks, JR, for being our guide. It costs no more than if you were going to use someone else, so do it, really. And when you do take one of those tours, email me about your experiences. Maybe you can come on board and share with others what you liked or didn't like about the tour. Again, contact me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending off a message. And don't forget, JR's got his maps, his DIY tours, his revitalized happy hour board, and more, which looks great, by the way. I have links to all of those in the show notes. And once again, if you like this podcast, take some time, subscribe, give me a good review wherever you're listening to it, or share it with a friend. That's really what helps. And that way we can get the word out to more and more people about the magic of this place, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Remember, I made it easy for you to do just that with each episode I create. But if you haven't been to my website, you really need to have a look there. I have links to the places that we talk about, interesting pictures and more, all right there in my blog posts and in the show notes for each episode of the show. So check them out for sure if you haven't already. All right? All right. Well, listen, remember, check out CBX when you get a chance. You never know when this connection to all of Mexico will fit into your travel plans, including if you just need to take a trip to the border to renew your travel visa. Keep that in mind. And thanks to Edgar from Brewmaster Festival at Puerto Mexico. Get down there, have a great time. Also, thank you, Kay. Make sure that you contact the Abuelas. I have contact information in the show notes. Pick up a present off of a Christmas tree for somebody. And thank you, Bill Langford from Beach Booty Jewelry in Puerto Vallarta. I have links to their Facebook page, their Instagram page. Be sure to visit Bill and Susie. They're always at the traveling markets, and they have the most imaginative and beautiful designs all around. You've got to check out their online store too. I have links to all of that as well. Thank you, James. Thanks for dropping in. See you in a couple of weeks, amigo. JR, was great to have you back on the show. We'll see you soon too. And to all of you, thank you for listening all the way through this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. This is Barry Kessler signing off with the wish for you to slow down, be kind, and live the Vallarta lifestyle. Nos vemos, amigos.
Noche de amor junto al mar. Puerto Vallarta.